Welcome everyone to our second day of plotting points. We're going to start today by labeling the points or the parts of the coordinate plane. Now our coordinate plane is this graph. The first thing we're going to do is label quadrant 1. Now quadrant 1 always starts here in the upper right corner. This is quadrant 1. Now the quadrants go in counterclockwise order. So then this is quadrant 2. This is quadrant 3. And this is quadrant 4. So we checked off all of those. Now the origin is where we start everything. We're going to start at 0, 0. This is the origin, right in the middle. The point there, like I said, was 0, 0. That is the origin. Finally, we have our x and y axis. The x-axis goes horizontally, so across the straight across, side to side. The y-axis then is the one that goes up and down. So these are the parts of our coordinate plane. We got our quadrants, we have the origin, 0, 0, and we have the x-axis and the y-axis. Now this says graph the function y equals 4x minus 2 with the domain -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Then identify the range of the function. So what we have to do here is we have to make a table. And the table that we're going to make is going to have 3 different sections. One is going to have an x, the other one will have a y. In the middle, then, will be our equation. So 4x minus 2. Now the domain is always going to be our x. So our domain is -2, or our x is -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. The range will be our y. Now we don't know our y yet, so we have to figure out what that is. So how we're going to do that is we're going to replace this x with the x's that we have. So it'll be 4 times a -2 minus 2. 4 times a -2 is -8 minus 2 gives us a -10. Then we have 4 times a -1 minus 2. Hold on one second, I'm going to make this a different color. There we go. 4 times -1 is -4, minus 2 is -6. 4 minus 2, but the 4 is being multiplied by 0. 4 times 0 is 0, minus 2. 0 minus 2 gives us a -2. And we have 4 times 1 minus 2, and 4 times 2 minus 2. 4 times 1 is 4, minus 2 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8, minus 2 is 6. So we got to plot these points then. So if we have an x and a y as our coordinate, our x's are going to be -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Our y's then will be -10, -6, -2, 2, and 6. So if we graph that, we got to first go to -2. This is going down by 2, so -2, -4, -6, -8. -10 doesn't fit on our graph, so let's start with the next one. -1, -2, -3 or 4, -6. That's our first point. 0, -2 is our second point. 1, 2 is our third point. And 2, 6 is our fourth point. Now, the last thing we have to do is identify the range. We said the range was y, so our range for this problem is going to be -10, -6, -2, 2, and 6. Alright, next problem. Graph the function y equals -1/3 x plus 2. So what we're going to do is draw our table to help us graph. We have x. In the middle we have a -1/3 x plus 2. And then we have y. Our domain says -6, -3, 0, 3, and 6. So we are going to replace x with the numbers that we have here. So our x for the first one is -6. So if we do -1/3 times 6, that gives us 2, plus 2 is going to give us 4. -1/3. I'm just going to write these all out. I'm going to go -1/3 times everything down the x. And then in our x spots, we're going to have -3, 0, 3, and 6. -1/3 times -3 is a positive 1, plus 2 is 3. -1/3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. -1/3 times 3 is a -1, plus 2 is 1. And -1/3 times 6 is -2. -2 plus 2 is 0. So if we have our x and our y, our x's are -6, -3, 0, 3, and 6. Our y's are 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So -6, 4 is go over -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 1, 2, 3, 4. -3, 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 0, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, and 6, 0 gives us a point right there. So our line looks like this. And our range then is our y values. And our y's we said were 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Alright, now this one says the table shows the number of hours worked and the corresponding pay in dollars. So our hours worked are on the top, and the pay in dollars is on the bottom. Now our hours worked are on our x-axis, so we know that our hours worked is the x. The pay in dollars, that's on the y-axis, so this is our y. So if we graph this, our first point is 1 and 750. So 1, about 750 is maybe right there. 2 and 15. So halfway between 10 and 20. 3 and 22.5. Maybe about right there. Now we jump to 5 and 37.5. Maybe right there. And then we jump to 8 and 60. So there's our line. So the second part of this problem says, does the graph represent a function, y or y not? So what a function is for every input. So if I write that out here, for every input, there is one output. So our inputs are 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. For every input, there's a different output. So yes, this is a function. It also is a function because it is a line. It's a line that's going straight up. It says, describe the change in hours worked and pay. So basically, this is as you work more hours, you get paid more, which is true in any job. If you work more hours, you're going to get paid more. So that's it for today's lesson. Make sure you get your homework and have a good day.